Good morning, everyone. It is Tuesday, October the 26th, 2021. It is currently 9:35 a.m. Central Time. And as you can tell, I'm not coming to you from the empty sanctuary of Victory Baptist Church. Obviously, I'm not recording this using my podcast equipment. I'm standing here in my study. I'm holding an iPad in my hand. And I wanted to take just a few minutes, even though this is not professional, I wanted to take just a few minutes to invite all of you, every single person who hears this. I want to invite you to join the Theology Central group on Swell. Now, you may not know what Swell is. You may not know what the Theology Central group is, but I'm here to give you all the details. But I want you to really consider joining the group because I think the group could be something very interesting. I think it could really lead to encouragement, exhortation, very interesting discussions, and hopefully, in a sense, iron sharpening iron, and that we can all grow spiritually from it. Here's what's going on. There is an app called Swell, S-W-E-L-L, Swell. And basically what Swell is, it's an app where people can record little 5-minute audio clips talking about whatever they want to talk about. And then people respond to that audio clip with their own audio clip. Everyone is restricted to 5 minutes. It's very interesting to see kind of how the Swell community works. People talk about all kinds of interesting things. People respond. Sometimes some very interesting conversations, interesting discussions, and interesting topics are being discussed. And I find it very interesting. I've messed around with the Swell app for off and on, maybe almost a year. Never quite really figured out how I would use it or what I would want to use it for because I didn't want it to become time consuming and take me away from things related to the church or Theology Central podcast, et cetera, and just trying to figure out really what the Swell community was interested in was also very difficult. I didn't really quite fit in what I wanted to talk about. No one else really wanted to talk about. It didn't really work out very well for me. But the technology is super interesting. Well, Swell decided to kind of expand and create this thing called groups, where an individual can create a group, invite specific people to that group, and then all of the discussion, everything happening in Swell happens within that group. In other words, people on Swell, not everyone on Swell has access to it. Only people within the group. So it's a self-contained discussion, which really makes it very interesting because you create a group like Theology Central, and then we can all have these conversations and discussions. This is the way I'm thinking about using it. Obviously, there are so many things that I would like to talk about in any given day that I can't do full podcast episodes about. But I think, this would be interesting to tell people about. This would be interesting. And so I'm just going to use Swell that whenever I see something or I think something is interesting, I'm going to grab my iPad or a phone, record a little 5-minute Swell, tell everyone, hey, check this out. Check this out. May include a link in the Swell so that everybody can see it. It'll be almost serve as an audio blog where I can communicate directly with you. You'll get a notification whenever I post a Swell, and then you can go listen. It can't be longer than 5 minutes, so it's not going to take too much of your time. And then if you would like, you can respond with your own audio recording. Not only that, you can record whatever you want as well in the group. So you could ask questions. You could say, hey, did you see this? Hey, everyone, did you hear this? I just heard this interesting sermon, or I just saw this, or I just saw this news article, or I just watched this TV show. I mean, literally anything you want. And then we can discuss it, where then we're exhorting one another, encouraging one another, we're communicating with one another, and it's supposed to be for discussion. Now, for the people who hear this, who you all obviously hate me, and all you want to do is argue with me, please just use the email, or of course you can use the YouTube comment section where all of the people who dislike me seem to hang out. So this is really for people who want to engage in meaningful discussion. You can ask tough questions, obviously. We can have very, obviously, spirited conversation, but we're going to do so in a way that's trying to build people up, and I think it should be interesting and informative. It just gives me a way to communicate directly with you without having to record an entire podcast episode, because sometimes I don't even want to do an entire podcast episode on something. I just want you to be aware of it. And then I love to get your feedback. And I also like the idea that you could immediately post information to me like, hey, look at this. And so it's like I get information from you, you're getting information from me, then we have the discussion, and I can envision that the discussions then can lead to a full-blown podcast episode. So I think it's just an interesting way, direct communication, informative, timely, on the spot. I see so much that we can do with it. I haven't fleshed out all of the ideas. Now, listen, I'm very aware that I come up with ideas all the time that never turn into anything. I mean, I have so many ideas that fail over and over and over. So many times I think, oh, look, hey, we can use this technology, all come together to have interesting conversations. And then you realize nobody cares. Nobody wants to participate. And then you're like, man, well, that was a failure. But for some weird reason, no matter how many failures I encounter, I just keep trying. Because anytime I see technology, I'm like, how can I use this to get people talking and thinking and studying and feeding them spiritually? So I think this is just another tool. Will it be beneficial? I don't know. But please download the Swell app. If you go to any app store, it's called Swell, S-W-E-L-L, Swell. This is how they describe them. Their tagline is keep talking. And this is what it says. Discover a whole world of audio, a whole new world of audio. Short and thoughtful audio conversations on a wide range of topics from all over the world. Discover a new way to talk, listen anytime, reply anytime to any conversation. No scheduling, no missing out. Easily start new conversations with a short audio post, invite your friends, or connect with new users with similar interest. Posts can be up to 5 minutes long and can include a photo and a description. So there you have it. Swell, S-W-E-L-L. Here's what I need you to do. Download the app. Look for me, Theology Central. Follow me on Theology Central. Now, if you've communicated with me in the past, most likely I'm going to recognize your name. And as soon as I see your name, I will invite you to join the group. All right? If I don't know you, email me at newsif@yahoo.com. Newsif@yahoo.com. Simply say, downloaded Swell, want to be a part of the Theology Central group. I will immediately go to Swell, make sure you're following me on Swell, and then invite you, and then you can be a part of the group. Again, in the group, all of our conversations are kept there. So you don't have to worry about all these people on Swell trying to argue or disagree or going, wait, I don't like this. You don't have to worry about any of that. It'll just be our group. So if it was in the open channels, I don't like that as much because then, it just turns into everyone jumping into them. Well, think of it this way. If you've ever been at work and you're having a theological conversation with one person and it seemed to be really beneficial and really meaningful, and then all of a sudden all of these people come jumping into the conversation, usually it gets then derailed, sidetracked, and it usually disintegrates into nothing but arguing. I can't stand that. Theological conversations that disintegrate into that stop being beneficial. But with our group, I think these would be people who are theologically minded, who are willing to learn, and I think it could really be an interesting idea. Put it this way, it's going to be an experiment. I'm going to try to give it at least a month. At the end of the month, I will say, didn't work. I got no problem admitting defeat. Okay, it's perfectly okay. Or it may work. Or not only that, if people actually participate, it may actually, this could be interesting, it may actually evolve into something different than I even envisioned, and maybe something even better. So I would love to get your thoughts. First, the most important thing, download the Swell app. Please download the Swell app, S-W-E-L-L, Swell. Download it. Look for Theology Central. That's me. And most likely, as soon as I see that you're following me, probably any new follows I'm going to invite, because I don't do much. I do very little under the Theology Central profile, so no new people are going to be following me unless you're listening to this. So if you follow me, I will just immediately invite you to the group. Please, then once you get into the group, record a quick swell, say hello. I throw out your ideas or start throwing out any information, questions, anything you want to talk about. And we'll just see how it works. It's going to be It'll take, we got to give it a little bit of time to figure out the ins and outs. And once everyone figures it out, I think it could be really beneficial. So download the Swell app today, SWELL. Follow Theology Central. I will invite you to the group, then join the group, and then let's start talking. Let's start discussing. Let's start asking questions. Let's start finding answers. Let's grow spiritually. Let's encourage and exhort one another as the day is approaching. Now that's from the book of Hebrews, which that in the historical context, that's referring to 70 AD. But for us, every day we're one day closer to the end, right? So let's make the most of the time that we have now, and let's encourage and let's grow spiritually. And let's do this together in a new endeavor. The theology group on Swell, I think it should be interesting. I think it should be beneficial. And I'm inviting you, yes, you, all of you, to please take a moment and try it out. If you don't like it, then that's okay. Delete it. But at least give it a shot, right? It can't hurt, right? So let's see what we can do. Join the Swell group today. Join Swell, follow Theology Central, and then join the Theology Central group. I can't wait to see you there. Let's have some interesting conversations. God bless.